food every day by reading. So meditation, reading, walking, these are my spiritual practices. But as I said in the beginning, as a kind of preamble, that everything I do for me is a spiritual practice. There is no separation.
Anybody have I have a question or two if nobody else does. Does anybody have something? Satish, you talked about, your personal growth and evolution being a process. And I think, this idea of creating the world of our highest dreams and aspirations about sustainability is also a process. And what do you see as the next phase of that process in your work? What's alive for you in your work in terms of the next things that you see with all your experience?
I think the next thing is very much in education. At the moment, our education is very, very kind of, you can say, misguided. Education is no longer education. The word education comes from educare, which means to bring out what is already in there. And we already have that spirit, that soul, that imagination, that consciousness within us. And education should help us to bring that out, like a candle has the light within it. And education is like a matches, which brings the light out of that candle. So education is not fulfilling that role. Education is conditioning our minds to go and work in the marketplace, in the capitalism, in socialism, in communism, in factories, in business, in industry, whatever it is. Education is not really fulfilling its role. And most of our damage in the world is being done is by highly educated people. Our presidents and prime ministers are very educated. Our bankers are very educated. People who run Monsanto are very educated, PhD from Yale and Harvard and big universities, but they are not educated. So my challenge, which is at Schumacher College and wherever I go, this is why I'm coming to your place, is to remind people that education is not about just getting a job or fitting into the market economy. Education is about self-realization and self-discovery. And whatever you do, whatever work you are doing, that work should also be part of your self-discovery and self-realization and self-fulfillment. And so for me, the next few years is this, and I want to see Schumacher College even serving more and more people in this way. And Schumacher College, the way of Schumacher College learning and teaching, spreading in other countries like the United States or Brazil. We have got already Scola Schumacher in Brazil. We are connecting with Bhutan. We are connecting with India. We are connecting with mainland China. I went to China earlier this year in March, and I'm going to go to China again. And so we are working with China, because in China they are developing a new movement called creation of ecological civilization. And I think that's a wonderful phrase. Ecological civilization is a better phrase than sustainable development, because sustainable development is still very materialistic. But ecological civilization is a much more nature-based and also spiritual-based. Ecology word is a very beautiful word. And so we are connecting with China. So China, India, Brazil, Bhutan, all these countries, we are developing relationship. And the United States, this is why I'm coming to your college next year. So working with you. So education in a holistic way and having spiritual basis is for me is the next phase of my life that I want to devote. That's the main.
Okay. Does anybody have a question? Go ahead. Come on up. And then I have one closing question. So go ahead.
Satish, it's been a joy listening.
This is Bob Ferguson, and he's also he was the head of the group that developed our kind of plan for sustainability for the community, and he's been a leader in many of the sustainability initiatives here. So go ahead.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Well, I just mainly wanted to tell you thank you for such a inspiring exposition. I have been reading lately about the malaise that you described in the Western world, that is the natural endpoint of competitive capitalistic materialism.
Yeah.
Competition, the theory is that when people compete, then everything gets better. But without a spiritual basis, that competition just breaks society into little atomized pieces that are become commodities. And I think the work that you're doing and the work that we're attempting to do here is a way of maintaining the value of technology, maintaining the value of learning to work with the laws of nature, but not absent from the direction of spirituality. So I just wanted to thank you very much for your work, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next May.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are very kind words and wonderful. And I look forward to being with you next year. Yeah.
So Satish, I wonder if you might say a few words about the role of love in this transition and in the universe, in both its practical and in its more ephemeral aspects.
Yeah. You know, recently there was a royal wedding in England. Prince Harry married an American, Meghan Markle. And that was a good news, because a woman from mixed race, an American background, marrying in a royal English family was a very good news. But the most important thing in that royal family, which stood out, was a speech on love by one of your American black priest called Michael Curry. Have you heard of Michael Curry?
Have people heard of Michael Curry? One or two, a few, mostly not.
Yeah. Now, Michael Curry is from Chicago, and he spoke at the royal wedding, and he said, all your questions have only one answer, and the answer is the way of love. And I think that was a very powerful speech. So I always say to students who come to Schumacher College that we bring you here, and we have various titles, come here to study economics of transition, or holistic science, or ecological design, or ecology and spirituality, various themes and subjects we have here. But the hidden subject, the hidden agenda is that we invite you here to fall in love. Fall in love with yourself. If you don't love yourself, you are not going to be able to love somebody else. So loving yourself, and then loving others. Now, what does love mean? Love means to accept the other as the other is, without ifs, without buts, without judgment, without qualification, without conditions. Just accept the other as the other is. And the same way, accept yourself as you are. Once you accept, and no expectation from others, you have no expectation whatsoever, pure and total and unconditional acceptance of the other is love. And when you have that acceptance, then the next step is participation in the process of life. And life is a journey, life is a pilgrimage, living together with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with your parents, with your neighbors, whoever you are living with. Participating in the process of life, participating in growing the food, cooking the food, sharing the food, making the bed, building the house, making something with hands. Whatever you do, that's a participation without expectation, total acceptance. That's a love. That's a magic. That's the magic of love. Love is not logic, it's a magic. You cannot define love. It's a kind of invisible, but you practice it. So when you are able to participate in life, be active. Love is not passive. Love is active. Be active in love, but act, participate in the process of life without expectations, without results, without craving for outcome. What will I get out of this love? What will I get out of this relationship? How am I going to benefit from this relationship? That kind of outcome, that kind of desire is not love. Love is very pure. Love is very simple. Love is very straightforward. You just accept the other and accept yourself as the other is, as you are. And then in the process of life, participating in life, you grow. You grow and grow and grow spiritually. Love is like watering the plant. When you water the plant, water the flowers, flowers will grow. They will blossom. Their color will come. The fragrance will come. The beauty will come by putting the water. So if you water your life with love, you water your relationship with love, then relationship will flourish and blossom and fruition, and you will enjoy it. So love, this is what, if you can look at BBC, and BBC has Michael Curry's speech of royal wedding, at the royal wedding. It was a very beautiful speech. And this is what I always often talk at Schumacher College about love. And if we have love in our heart, that's the way to happiness. In America, you have saying that American principles and constitution is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I said, you don't need to pursue happiness. Just by loving, you are happy. And happiness does not come by having big house or big car or big this or big that or money or job. Or all those things are fine. They are all practical things to have. But that total acceptance of life as it is, and then actively participating in the process of life, through that you grow. This is the basic idea of love for me, at least for the moment.
Okay, Satish, everybody, give you a big applause. So we've taken an hour of Satish's time, and that's what he promised us. And so, unless anybody has a quick closing question, well, Satish, I'm hoping that we can get together in the next few weeks and talk a little bit more, maybe with Scott also, about how we might design your time here. And,
yes. I will be in your hands, Lonnie, and you design whatever, and I'll be there, and we will go together walking, and maybe some cooking, some gardening, and talking, and exploring ideas, and learning from each other. It'll be very much of, it will have a flow. We will go with the flow, and we will work together. So there's no worry.
We'll have a pilgrim adventure.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Satish. Much love from everybody here in Iowa.
And my love to you all. I'm looking forward to being with you next year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Scott.
Bye-bye. Okay, you can close it now.